Butterfly Fiction's presence. What if Deku inherited one for all from birth? Full origin story, Part 1. In a world where quirks define destiny, what if fate gave Izuku Midoriya the most powerful quirk? From the very beginning? Witness the rise of a new kind of hero as Deku's journey begins, rewritten from birth. New bonds. New power. A brand new story. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Butterfly Fictions for more epic what-if stories every week. In a world where 50% of the population is born with a power known as a quirk, the profession that everyone once wanted became possible: heroism. Heroes protect and save people from threats like villains, natural disasters, etc. To become great heroes, they have to study at schools with implementations for the hero profession, and one of the largest academies of all is UA. After graduating, they begin their work as heroes and receive a salary from the government based on the problems they have solved. But the greatest hero I ever knew and admired the most was my father, Toshinori Yagi, or also known as All Might. He's the #1 hero and symbol of peace. Thanks to him, Japan's crime rate has dropped to 2%. He's always smiling, he's fearless, and no one can defeat him. I aspire to be like him, but I didn't know that to become like my dad, I'd first have to go through a difficult path. Let's start with the first thing. My mother, Inko, married at age 20 to a man named Hisashi Midoriya, but a few months after getting married my mother asked for a divorce, this because Hisashi was being unfaithful to her with 3 different women. A year after that, when mom was walking back home, she was robbed by some men in an alley, but at that moment All Might, who at that time was not so well known, arrived and stopped all those thieves. Then he offered to take my mom home, and from what they told me, they felt a spark inside them ignited when they looked into each other's eyes. When they got home, All Might, without knowing what he was saying, asked her out, and she, also without knowing what he was saying, gladly accepted. Over time, they got to know each other better. Each time they saw each other they fell more and more in love. They became boyfriend and girlfriend, went out on more dates and did other things that I won't mention, they are very cheesy. Dad became the #1 hero and symbol of peace. Their lives were wonderful until Dad proposed marriage. Mom excitedly accepted, and 9 months after their honeymoon I arrived. Being the son of the symbol of peace, my birth was kept a secret, as were my first months of life, and it would have remained that way, but one day. POV narrator. The blonde man was preparing to leave his home, wearing a large coat that completely covered his body. All Might, "All right Izuku, today we'll go for a walk," he said as he approached the door, ready to leave. Inko, Toshinori, caught his attention with his arms crossed. "Where are you going?" All Might, "I'm just going for a walk with our son," he answered nervously, turning around so he could see her, showing his son who was in his carrier. Izuku was green-haired, with small blonde streaks. He also had his grandfather's freckles and green eyes. It was lucky for them that he didn't look much like All Might. Even Inko was grateful that he didn't have his smiling face. "Inko, Toshi, you know how dangerous it would be if someone saw you with Izuku," he said with a worried tone. All Might, "I know, but he hasn't been out all week, and besides, I won't let anyone hurt him." Inko sighed and then spoke, "It's okay, just be careful. Izuku, take care of your dad," she said while looking at him. All Might, "See you later." He walked out with me, closed the door, and ran into a dark alley. "I can't believe I fell for that, but we'd better hurry." He took off the coat he was wearing and revealed his Silver Age hero suit. "Okay, Izuku, today you'll experience what it's like to be a hero. Let's save the day." The hero ran until he reached a clear street where a villain was causing damage in the area. He was about to throw a car when he was stopped by the voice of the symbol of peace. "All Might, everything's okay, do you know why?" "Because I'm here." Upon seeing him, the audience burst into cheers and shouts of happiness, but the villain just looked at him angrily and started to hit him, but was stopped by the hero's fist. "All Might, you better stop causing trouble." "Villain, don't you get involved in my business." He used his other arm to hit him, but he was also stopped. "All Might, you don't learn." He prepared his fist and hit his face, making him step back. "Villain, fool, I also have super strength. My quirk allows me to hit with the same force with which I have been hit. You will not be able to defeat me," he explained mockingly. "All Might, you may have super strength, but it won't do you much good if you can't withstand my blows." He spoke with a defiant smile. "Villain, you'll see." He lunged at the man and hit him with the same force as him. The hero covered himself, but honestly it didn't help much because the blow didn't do anything to him. "What?" "All Might, I told you, by the way, I'm able to withstand my blows. Tell me. Can you withstand them?" He closed his fist and squeezed it tightly. "Look at this Izuku." Detroit Smash, he slammed his fist into the villain's jaw, sending him up and letting him fall to the ground where he fell unconscious. What did you think of that, Izuku? He took his son in his arms and lifted him up a little to look at his face. The little one just laughed happily. Unfortunately for the hero, the press arrived and quickly approached him, asking him many questions. He tried to answer them all, but one caught his attention. Reporter 1, who is the baby? Reporter 2, is he your son? All Might, what? Oh he's my he tried to explain nervously, but was interrupted by a small voice. Izuku, duh. At this, the hero and the reporters opened their eyes wide and looked at him in surprise. All Might, what did you say, Izuku? Izuku, Dad. He said again while looking at him. All Might, ha 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 ha. Did you hear that? My name is Dad, he exclaimed with small tears in his eyes as he lifted his son as high as he could, making him laugh. Come on son, say that again. Izuku, Dad, ha ha. He exclaimed / laughed as his father lifted him up and put him down. All Might, that's the way you say it, son, he spoke enthusiastically, completely forgetting about the reporters who were quick to ask him a ton of questions. Reporter 1, is that your son? Reporter 2, since when do you have a child? He asked impatiently. Reporter 3, what is your name? Reporter 4, how does it feel to be All Might's son? He pointed his microphone at the boy who laughed at him. All Might, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but duty calls. Bye, he ran out as fast as he could, straight to his house. I hope Inko doesn't find out. He thought, scared. A few minutes later he returned home, quietly closed the door and tiptoed down the hallway hoping not to be discovered, but his soul left his body when he saw his wife standing in front of him with an angry expression. All Might, hello darling. Inko, Toshinori Yagi, what did you do? She asked furiously. All Might, Jay just went out for a walk like I told you. He lied fearfully. Inko, then why are you wearing your hero suit? All Might looked down and noticed he was wearing his suit and not the coat to cover himself. All Might, sorry, I just wanted Izuku to see what it's like to be a hero. He apologized. Inko, Toshi, he's still too little for that. She spoke more calmly, approaching to take her son in her arms, who smiled at having her close. All Might, yeah, I know, it won't happen again. But I don't regret anything. I saw him smile while I was facing a villain. He talked too much, only to cover his mouth after that. Inko, what? She looked at him angrily but then calmed down. It's okay, don't let it happen again. The two sat on their couch and watched the news where All Might was seen fighting the villain while carrying his son, which made the green-haired woman look at him with a frown. After that, the news changed to All Might's secret son with Izuku's picture on it. That made the woman's furious look increase. All Might, now that I think about it, I'm starting to regret it a little. Inko, anything else Toshinori? All Might, yo. Izuku, mom. Inko, I can't believe it, he called me mom. Come on Izuku, say it again. She lifted her son to look at his face and he caressed her with his hands. Izuku, mom, he repeated with a big smile. All Might, thanks for saving me from this, son. He thought proudly as he saw his son smile. Midoriya Yagi POV. The news spread throughout Japan and the world very quickly, so trying to hide it was no longer of any use. Fortunately, nothing bad happened during that time. However, good things don't last forever. I discovered that when I went to the doctor to find out what my quirk was, but it turned out that. POV narrator. Doctor, you should give up. That phrase echoed in the child's head because he didn't understand it. The answer to that was nothing less than the truth. Izuku could never manifest a quirk, and although in that society it wasn't a bad thing not to have one, Izuku always wanted to have one to be a hero like his father, but that news made his expectations fall to the ground. After they returned home, Izuku locked himself in his room and didn't come out all afternoon. Worried about his behavior, Inko entered his room and saw him sitting in front of the computer watching his father's debut as a hero. Izuku, Mom. Dad is so cool, he always saves everyone with a smile, he's a great hero. He turned to look at his mother, pointed at the screen and with tears in his eyes asked, do you think I can be a hero too? Inko, devastated by the look her son had, thought about what she was going to say when she remembered her husband's words. All Might, if Izuku doesn't get a quirk, I want you to tell him. Inko ran to where her son was and hugged him, letting her tears flow. She said, Inko, of course, darling. You can be any hero you want, no matter what anyone tells you. Izuku, sniff, thanks mom, he reciprocated the hug and cried with joy as much as he could. An hour after dinner, Izuku headed to his brighter room and saw a poster of his father. Izuku, Dad, I'll become very strong, you'll see. He said determinedly. After a while her father came home in his golden age suit and went with his wife to talk about the doctor's appointment. All Might, what did they tell you? Inko, Izuku doesn't have a quirk. She answered a little depressed remembering it. All Might, and how did he take it? He asked worriedly. Inko, not good at all, I really wanted to have a quirk to be a hero, I want to be like you. All Might, that may be possible. He said while pleasing his smile. Inko, don't tell me that. You'll give him the All Might, it's time to continue the family legacy. He walked to his son's room and knocked on the door. Izuku, may I come in? Izuku, of course Dad. All Might entered the room and saw his son on the floor, apparently he was exercising, or trying to. All Might, what are you doing son? Izuku, I exercise, Mom will have already told you, I don't have a quirk, but it doesn't matter, I will train to be a great hero like you, Dad. He explained as he stood up. All Might, ha ha ha, that's true. If you want to be a great hero like me, you'll have to get your body in shape first, or you won't be able to take it. Izuku, what do you mean, Dad? He asked confused. All Might sat on the bed and clapped at his side, come here son. Waited for the boy to sit down and continued, haven't you wondered what my power is? Izuku, of course, it is one of the greatest mysteries in the world, many call it super strength, others boast but you have never said it. All Might, that's because my power is something not many people know the truth about. It's a secret power, so I'm going to ask you not to tell anyone about it. Can you promise me that? Izuku, I promise. All Might, well, the name of my power is One for All. Izuku, One for All? All Might, that's right. He opened his hand and it lit up in different colors. It's a power that has been passed down from generation to generation. A person cultivates that power and passes it on to another person. They do the same and pass it on to the next. I was blessed with this sacred torch by Nana Shimura as the eighth bearer. He explained as the light went out. He closed his fist and pointed it at his son. And you, my son, are going to be the next bearer of this great power. Izuku couldn't believe it. He had never heard of a power like that, nor was it difficult for him to digest the truth, but he wasn't sure what his father had told him. Izuku, do you think I can wield your power? He asked doubtfully. All Might, of course, son. You have the heart and spirit of a true hero. I knew it when you defended that little girl in the park. Son, you can be a hero. Those words made Izuku's doubts and worries clear away. All Might, so, what do you say son? Do you want to be the ninth bearer of this great power? Izuku, Dad, I will be the ninth bearer of One for All. He spoke with determination reflected in his eyes. All Might, that's how it is spoken. Tomorrow we will start your training, for now you have to rest. He got out of bed and just as he was about to walk to the door his son stopped him. Izuku, Dad. He stood up in his bed and hugged the hero as tightly as he could. Thank you very much. All Might, you're welcome, son. He said, reciprocating the hug. For many months, All Might trained his son to be able to wield his power. Izuku cleaned the trash-filled Dagoba beach and left it completely clean and without a trace of garbage in a matter of 2 years. He also learned martial arts from his father and at 7 years old was when he received the power of One for All. The boy was more than prepared and excited to receive it, but the way he did it was not how he imagined. All Might, eat it. Izuku, what? I thought it would be more epic. He complained, holding his hair in his hand. All Might, I thought the same thing when I got it, but as long as you get some of my DNA, you'll be fine. Now eat it. Izuku, no. All Might, eat it. Izuku, no. In the end, Izuku had to eat the hair and wait for it to digest so he could use his new power. The first attempt didn't go as well as they expected. Izuku suffered a great pain in his arm when he tried to throw a punch in the air, so they had to pause the training and wait for something to occur to them so they could use the power without hurting the boy. It took months for Izuku to learn how to use it. He discovered how to use it correctly and called the full cowling technique and learned the uses he could give it, such as the air force and the blows his father did. 8 years later, Izuku and his best friend Bakugo attended the UA entrance exam. They had trained together since they were little and were now stronger than before, but even though they were strong, neither of them worked alongside the other, each went their own way, but still no one beat them. They passed the exam, with Izuku in first place and Bakugo in second. They entered Class A and quickly gained fame throughout the academy. Izuku swept the tests given to him, knowing how to use 100% of his power. He defeated most of the villains who tried to attack the USJ. He won the sports festival 2 years in a row and obtained his provisional license with ease. In addition, thanks to his father, he had the permission of his teacher, Aizawa, to be able to go out on the streets and perform acts of heroism even after his curfew. At the moment, it was a quiet day on the streets of Musatafu. People were walking and enjoying their day calmly and happily, that is until two people arrived determined to ruin their day. Two villains with the quirk of turning their bodies into slimes and super speed, tried to rob an ATM without noticing the presence of two people who had arrived to answer the people's call for help. Everything's fine. Do you know why? All Might / Deku, because we're already here. Villain 1, damn, the heroes have arrived. Villain 2, calm down, they won't be able to stop us. Villain 1, it's All Might, and that's his son, he pointed out, already more scared. Deku, I'm so glad you know our names, now could you drop the money on the ground and surrender? Villain 1, idiot, we won't do it. Deku, I knew this would happen. Hey, Dad, you're the one on the left and I'll be the one on the right, he said while activating his quirk. All Might, gladly, son. He cracked his knuckles and braced himself before launching himself at the slime villain. Deku, now, what were we talking about? The villain 2 appeared in front of him and hit him, but he dodged in time. Super speed, this will be easy. All Might had no problems against the villain 1, he couldn't handle his air pressure attacks and he got tired very quickly. Izuku easily kept up with the villain 2, preventing him from escaping and landing a few hits, while his opponent couldn't land any. Izuku took his opponent to his father's side and he threw a very precise punch that sent him flying against the slime villain, then the two charged a pressure punch with little power and hit them full on, leaving them unconscious on the street. The police were quick to arrive and arrest the thieves. The money was recovered and the prisoner stayed to interview the father and son duo, known as the Mighty Duo, named after Izuku when he was 5 years old. Without any more time to waste, they said goodbye to the press and headed home, where a furious Inko was waiting because the two of them should have arrived half an hour ago. They both apologized but were not spared the scolding that their wife/mother gave them both. They had a quiet meal and chatted for a bit before Izuku had to head back to the dorms. Life was perfect for the green-haired boy. Yagi Midoriya POV. Now you know everything I had to go through to get where I am. I don't really have any complaints. I have loving parents who always support me. I keep people safe from danger like I always wanted. I have many friends at UA, and I'm on the path to becoming a future hero. I couldn't ask for anything more. I'm heading to UA right now, it's already 10 p.m., but I stayed behind a bit to patrol the streets in my hero suit, but nothing's happened yet. Just as I was passing through an alley, I heard shouting and arguing. I stepped in quietly, only to see a group of guys cornering a girl with brown hair, clearly trying to steal her bag. Man 1, hand it over, and no one gets hurt. Man 2, don't be stupid, just give us the bag. Girl, no. Get away from me. Deku, you hurt her. Step away, now. Deku, you heard the girl. I landed in front of them and let the green rays manifest around me, let her go, now. Uraka POV. In this world, not everyone is born and treated equally. I discovered that when I was little. The world I live in is like something out of a science fiction movie, where half the population has a power, also known as a quirk, and from there, heroes emerge. I was born and raised in a loving family. My parents always tried hard to provide for me, but because they were so busy, they couldn't spend much time with me. Most of the time, they came home with tired eyes. We didn't have any financial problems, but my parents were always busy because their construction company needed work in many places, and they had to travel almost constantly. The first time I saw a hero, I didn't focus on the way he fought or how he acted in the face of danger, but rather I focused on the reactions of the people when they saw the hero's triumph over evil. Seeing their radiant reactions of happiness and pride for those people made me want a future like that. I was more than determined to become a future heroine who would save people, and that in the future I would take my parents on vacation so they could rest from their work, but as I said before, not everyone is born equal. At the age of 4 I went with my parents to see the doctor to find out what my quirk was, however it turned out that I wasn't born with one. Doctor, you should give up. Mrs. Uraric A, what are you saying? Mr. Uraric A, is there a problem with my daughter? Doctor, according to the studies we did on your daughter, she has one more joint in her little toe, this means that your daughter will never have a quirk. That news made me quite sad. It wasn't so bad not having a quirk in a world where many people didn't have one either, but knowing that I couldn't fulfill my dream was terrible for me. My parents tried to cheer me up all day, but it didn't help much. The doctor's words, "You should give up," echoed in my head, and I couldn't stop thinking about them. I had to accept it, I had to give up, there was nothing I could do about it, but that changed when I met him. The day before we moved, because my parents were working, I was playing in the park when some kids started bothering me. They were laughing at me because I didn't have a quirk, and they were about to hit me when someone else arrived. He was a very cute green-haired boy with freckles. He was stopping one of their fists and stood in front of me. He hit them all and told them to leave. They did so without protest. Then he looked at me and offered me his hand to help me up. He asked me if I was okay and then gave me a big smile. He told me that he didn't have a quirk either, but that he was never going to give up on fulfilling his dream of being a hero. That made me think, maybe I couldn't be a hero, but I could dedicate myself to something more and fulfill my dream of taking my parents to Hawaii. Thanks to him, I was able to overcome the sadness I was carrying and smile again like before. We spent the whole afternoon playing until it was time for me to leave. He gave me a gift, and we promised to see each other again someday. After our goodbyes, I looked at the gift he gave me, and it was something I always carry with me to this day. Over the years, I studied hard to achieve a better future. I earned many diplomas and awards, as well as large scholarships that gave me the opportunity to advance even further and achieve my dream. I entered the UA Academy with one of the highest scores on the exam and was placed in general classes, where I also made many friends and stood out in class for my grades. I managed to get very far due to my effort, and many large companies recognized this by inviting me to join them after graduation. I had everything I wanted: loving parents, good friends, professional recognition, a secure future. I couldn't ask for anything more. Except maybe, seeing him again. At the moment, I was visiting my parents' apartment. We were on vacation, so there was no problem staying with them, as long as I didn't leave the house too late. My mom was cooking dinner and my dad was setting the table. Mom said she would go to the store for some more ingredients, but I offered to buy them. I left the house and went to the store to buy what I needed for dinner. It was dark outside and the streets were completely deserted, which scared me a little. I was walking down an alley on my way home when I heard someone following me, so I quickened my pace. I was almost out the door, but at that moment, a group of men surrounded me. There were 6 of them in total, and they didn't look friendly at all. Man 1, look what we have here. Man 2, this is really good. Man 3, and she is very beautiful. I could feel everyone's eyes on me and fear ran through my body. I tried to move toward the exit, but they stopped me. "You're Eric A., excuse me, but I have to go." I started walking, but one of them grabbed my arm. Man 1, come on, stay a while. Man 2, I promise you're going to have fun. Uraka, no, let me go, I struggled, trying to free myself from his grip, but it was no use. Man 1, I'm afraid you'll leave us here until we want to. They were approaching me and started to hold me tightly, when I heard. "Have you heard the girl?" I saw how the mysterious figure emitted green rays from its body and looked at everyone with intimidating emerald eyes. "Release her. Now." I saw some of them start to shake and their grip on me loosen. For some reason his eyes looked familiar to me, his presence brought me peace and tranquility. POV narrator. Neither of them knew that after that meeting their lives would change for the better and would mark the beginning of a beautiful relationship. A relationship between a hero and a student. Izuku, you heard the girl. He landed in front of them and let the green rays manifest in him. "Let her go, now." No one in that dark alley moved after these words from the green-haired hero who covered his face with his hood and mask. Man 1, hey, who are you? Man 2, get out of here before we kill you. Man 3, damn, he's All Might's son, he exclaimed scared. Man 4, he's Deku? Shit. You're Eric A., Deku? She wondered while still being held back. Man 2, what are you saying? All Might's son? Don't make me laugh. Man 1, I thought it would be someone stronger, ha ha ha. Man 5, I'm leaving, he said, letting go of the brunette and then running away. Man 6, I'll go with you, he exclaimed, following him. But before either of them could escape, they were both knocked down by a blow from the semi-professional hero, who turned to look at the other men with a less than friendly look. Man 1, idiot, shoot him, he ordered furiously. Aiming at the hero, one of them fired all the bullets his gun had without managing to hurt him even once. Izuku, new to this city? Fine, I'll teach you a lesson. In a flash, he transported himself behind men 3 and 4, slamming them into the wall, leaving them semi-conscious and dazed on the floor. Man 2, damn it, he grabbed the girl in shock and Lepanto with his gun, take one more step and I'll blow your head off. The boy stood still without making any movement when suddenly he began to release and fill the place with smoke, blinding the criminals. Man 1, where is it? An arm came out from the smoke and dragged him inside, leaving the 2 outside somewhat scared by the sound of screams and blows that could be heard inside that smoke, from which Izuku emerged a few seconds later. Man 2, don't move, he pointed his gun at the hero when a black thing grabbed it and pulled it from his hand. What? Without time to react, he was hit in the face, leaving him stunned and defenseless against another blow to his stomach. Izuku, he took him by the shoulders and slammed him against the wall to look him in the eyes. This city is under my protection. If any of you try to do something like this again, you'll have to deal with me. Understood? The man could only nod, taking one last blow from Izuku, knocking him out. But unbeknownst to him, one of the men had approached, ready to stab him with a small knife. Seeing this, the girl did not stay still. She ran towards the man and grabbed him by the wrist. Then she turned her body, grabbed the back of his neck and slammed him against the ground. You're Eric, eh? It was a good idea to take martial arts classes. She thought with a smile. Izuku was surprised by this, but he didn't have time to be distracted because another man had gotten up and was determined to hit the girl with a knuckle duster, but again he was stopped by the green-haired man. Izuku, never hit a lady. He spoke seriously, holding the man's arm. Man 3, are you a Kingsman? Izuku, no. But I know that. He hit the guy in the face and knocked him to the ground. Manners make the man. He turned to the girl and looked her in the eyes. Are you okay? He asked, receiving a nod. Thanks for watching my back. He grabbed the guy and put him in front of the girl. Do the honors. You're Eric, eh? Smiled and cracked her knuckles. It will be a pleasure. Retracted her fist and hit the man's jaw, knocking him unconscious. Izuku, did they hurt you? You're Eric, eh? No, you arrived just in time. Izuku, that makes me happy. Well, he was interrupted by a hug that the girl gave him. You're Eric, eh? Thank you so much for saving me. She thanked him with a few tears. I was scared, sniff, and I didn't know what to do. Izuku, hey, don't worry, it's okay. Do you know why? He asked, reciprocating the hug, looking into her eyes, because I'm here. They both stayed hugged for a few minutes. Each other's arms were warm and made them want to stay like that forever. You're Eric, eh? Thank you. Izuku, don't thank me, it's my job. Also, smile, you look more beautiful with a smile. He spoke without realizing what he was saying while wiping his tears, making the brunette blush and then him. Why did I say that? He thought, by the way, what were you doing passing by this place at this time? You're Eric, eh? I just went to the store to buy some things for tea dinner. It's late, I have to go, my parents are going to worry, she exclaimed alarmed, taking the bags that were on the floor and then starting to walk, but before she could take another step, a hand stopped her. Izuku, not so fast, miss. It's very late and the streets can be dangerous, let me walk you home so you won't fall into danger. You're Eric, eh? I don't want to be a bother, sir, Deku. But I'd better hurry. Izuku, I insist. I would feel terrible if I knew something bad had happened to him. He said, firming his grip. Uraka, okay. She gave in, blushing a little. Izuku, where do you live? Once he received the address he blushed at what he would do. Forgive me for what I'm going to do. Uraka, what are you talking about? Ah? She let out a small scream of surprise when she was carried bridal style by the hero. Izuku, we'll get there faster that way. I suggest you hold on to your bags. He advised before activating his power and running at full speed to their destination. The trip was peaceful. The brunette had taken that little time to relax and sort through the thoughts and emotions running through her mind after the men's attack. Although she couldn't see her hero's face, she could see his emerald eyes, which she found beautiful, as well as his unruly green hair with small blonde streaks, blushing at the thought. The same thing happened to Izuku, who couldn't stop having different thoughts about the girl he was holding in his arms. He thought she was beautiful, with her eyes and brown hair that gave off a sweet scent. For a moment, he was glad he had his hood on, which covered his blush. They finally arrived at the chestnut's house. Izuku carefully lowered her and made sure she was okay. Izuku, well, we've arrived. Uraka, thanks again for saving me and bringing me home. Izuku, it's a hero's job, I must go to UA before the professor gets angry. Uraka, you study at UA? Me too, she exclaimed in surprise. Izuku, you study at UA too? I've never seen you before. Uraka, I study general courses, I'm a second year. Izuku, I'm also a second year, but in the hero department, maybe that's why I've never seen you. By the way, I never asked your name. Uraka, I'm Ochako Uraka. She introduced herself. Izuku, I already reminded you, you're the best student in general courses, everyone at UA talks about it. He recalled somewhat surprised, Izuku Yagi Midoriya. Uraka, Izuku Yagi, is he? You're the best student at UA and All Might's son, the hero Deku, she exclaimed in surprise, completely forgetting when the men called him that in the alley. Izuku, that's right. He replied, scratching the back of his neck. Uraka, well, it was nice meeting you Deku. I'd better come in, she said but was interrupted again by the green-haired man's hand. Izuku, wait. He took a breath and spoke. I know we barely know each other, but would you like to go on a date with me so we can get to know each other better? He asked, blushing under his mask. Uraka, huh? Yes, I would love to. She answered also blushing. Izuku, great, he exclaimed nervously. See you on Sunday at 3 p.m. in the city's Central Park, he said, about to leave. Uraka, wait Deku. She called the hero a little embarrassed. Izuku, what's wrong? Uraka, see could you take off your mask? She asked, even more blushing. Izuku, of course. He removed his hood and mask, exposing his face to the blushing girl. Why did you want me to? Suddenly the girl got all worked up to reach him and plant a kiss on his cheek, leaving the green-haired boy speechless and surprised. Uraka, thanks for everything. See you, she said goodbye, blushing, quickly entering her house, leaving the still surprised and blushing hero outside. Ugh, that was very embarrassing, she whispered to herself, leaving the bags on the floor and covering her face. Mr. Uraka, Ochako, is that you? He asked from the living room, going towards her along with his wife. Mrs. Uraka, why did it take you so long? We were really worried, thinking something had happened to you. He said while hugging her. Mr. Uraka, are you okay? You look very red. Uraka, I'm fine, don't worry, I had a little problem but, someone helped me. She said, coming out of her trance, saying the last thing with a big smile. Mom, the things are in the bag, I'll go to my room. She said before running upstairs, leaving her parents confused. Mr. Uraka, what happened to him? Ms. Uraka, I think I have an idea what. She spoke with a smile forming on her face. Mr. Uraka, what is it? Mrs. Uraka, you'll have to ask your daughter. She replied before grabbing the bags and heading into the kitchen. Looks like our Ochako is already growing up. Mr. Uraka, don't you mean that? He thought for a moment about what he said before frowning. Ochako, daughter, we need to talk, he exclaimed as he went up the stairs, making his wife laugh. Meanwhile, Uraka was lying on her bed looking at a necklace in her hand with great nostalgia. The same thing happened with Izuku, who also made great jumps around the city and swung with some of his black whips. Uraka, Izuku Yagi Midoriya. Izuku, Ochako Uraka. Ijoka, I feel like I've seen you somewhere else. A few minutes after the young hero had left the Chestnut's house, she told her parents what had happened in the alley, but without telling them the name of her savior. Mr. Uraraka, so he saved you. He said seriously while having dinner with his family. Uraraka, yes, and it was incredible. She said with a lost look. Mrs. Uraraka, we're glad you're okay, daughter, but you still haven't told us his name. Uraraka, oh right, his name is Izuku Yagi Midoriya, also known as Deku. Mr. Uraraka, PFFF, what? All Might's son? He exclaimed after spitting out his water. Ms. Uraka, why didn't you tell us before? She asked in surprise. Uraraka, I didn't know how they would take it, and besides, as I told you before, his face was covered, so I didn't recognize him at first. Mrs. Uraraka, well, when you see him again, tell him to come to our home so we can personally thank him for everything he's done. I'll prepare a big dinner. Mr. Uraraka, good idea, dear. I'd also like to thank him for saving you. He spoke with a smile, and then I'll be able to know his true intentions with my daughter. He thought angrily and jealously. Uraraka, well, I'll see him again on Saturday when we go on the date. She said before covering her mouth with her hands. Mr. Uraraka, date? He asked angrily, being shocked. Mrs. Uririk A, did he ask you out? Uririk A, Edo, yes. Before leaving, he asked me if I wanted to go out with him so we could get to know each other better, and I accepted. She confessed, blushing. Mrs. Uririk A, I'm happy for you, daughter. I hope you have a good time and that you have fun. Mr. Uririk A, yes, I'm also happy for you, princess. He spoke still in shock, trying to suppress his anger. Uririk A, there's just one problem. I've never been on a date. What am I going to do? Mrs. Uririk, don't worry, darling, I'll help you with whatever you need so you don't get stressed. Uririk A, thanks, Mom. Are you okay, Dad? Mr. Uririk A, yes, I'm fine. He answered calmly, but inside he thought, if that Deku guy plans to take my princess away from me, I won't let him. The days had passed quickly and the day before the date arrived, but both young people were nervous and had some problems, such as what they would wear, where they would go, and if something bad happened what they would do. The brunette had gotten help from her mother, getting rid of her worries and negative thoughts. While with the green-haired guy, the boy was visiting his parents' house and had told them about his rescue of the girl, but he didn't tell them about the date he was going on and was getting very nervous. Izuku, what am I going to do? He asked himself, lying on his bed. Where will I take her? I have to do whatever it takes to make her have fun. That's all. He got out of bed and walked to the living room where his parents were. Mom, Dad, we need to talk. Oh, what's wrong, Izuku? She asked, leaving her cup of tea on the table. All Might, is there a problem with your power? Izuku, no, it's not because of my power. There's something I didn't tell you about my rescue. After I took Uraka home, I was about to leave, but I asked her out. Inko was shocked and All Might dropped his cup, only to get up at high speed and hug his son tightly. All Might, ha ha ha, my son is becoming a man. You did the same thing I did to your mother. Izuku, Dad, I'm not breathing, he whispered, losing all the air he had until it was released. Ha. Better. Inko, my son is already growing up, I feel so happy. She said before crying and hugging him, my Izuku already found a girlfriend. It won't be long before they get married and give me grandchildren. Izuku, what? Mom, I'm not getting married yet and I didn't find a girlfriend, I just asked her out, he exclaimed, trying to separate himself from the hug. All Might, on the contrary, son, this will mark the beginning of your new life. Let's go to your room, it's time for a father-son talk. He said before picking him up and carrying him to his room. Izuku, Dad, to be honest, I'm a little nervous and scared. All Might, don't worry, it's normal, but don't worry, you'll soon know how to overcome it and not be afraid of anything. He said with his usual big smile. Izuku, do you really think so? All Might, of course, after all, do you think I would have taken you out of the house when you were a baby, to fight villains, if I was afraid of your mother? Inko, I'm listening to you, Toshinori, she shouted from the living room. All Might, sorry, honey. Okay, back to what I was saying. I'll give you some tips to help you have a good date. He threw a notebook and a pencil at her and began. Izuku, writing, without balloons there is no Dad. Remember, you're still young. Be responsible and take things slow. Izuku, I guess not. All Might, okay. Number 2, tell her she looks beautiful. Number 3, make her smile and tell her her smile is beautiful. Izuku, Dad, that's from a movie. All Might, it always works, and speaking of which, you have to take her to the movies, then take her to eat and finally take her to a place where she'll have a lot of fun. Obviously you'll have to pay for everything. Manners make the man, you know that. Izuku, finishing writing, I got it. Thanks for the advice, Dad, although I still feel nervous. All Might, don't worry, everything will be fine. He said with his thumb up, now you better go to sleep. Izuku, you're right, good night, Dad. He said goodbye before lying down in his bed. All Might, good night, son. He said, walking out the door and closing it, meeting his wife. Inko, do you think it will go well? All Might, don't worry, Inko, she has the Yagi genes after all. Inko, thanks for the advice, Toshi. She thanked him and then put on a mischievous look. How much time do you have left? She asked, referring to his muscular form. This was because 6 years ago he had suffered an injury that left him working only 5 hours a day. All Might, an hour and a half. There weren't many crimes in my area today. Why? Inko, oh, no problem, I just thought you worked really hard, and that for advising our son. While with the green-haired guy. Izuku, okay, tomorrow will be the day and I should get a good night's sleep to be prepared. But I can't, I'm so excited I can't sleep, he thought with a big smile on his face, only to hear strange noises in the next room. What's that noise? He strained his hearing, instantly regretting it as he heard strange sounds and quickly put on his headphones to avoid the awkwardness. Although on second thought, I could sleep for a long time, he thought before putting on his headphones and listening to some relaxing music that helped him sleep. Far from hearing all the noise his parents were making in the other room. The days following the date between the new pair of friends had gone wonderfully. There were no incidents or crimes throughout the day. And thanks to the advice of the number one hero, Izuku was able to make sure the brunette girl had fun and had a good time with him. After the date ended and they arrived at the girl's house, she talked a little with him about the dinner her mother had told her about, agreeing to meet him again at her house for dinner. And the night of the dinner. Izuku, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. and Mrs. Uraka. He introduced himself to his friend's parents with a bow. Mrs. Uraka, no need to be so formal, young man. We're glad you could come. Mr. Uraka, yes, we were hoping to see you so we could chat a bit. He spoke with a slight hint of anger in his voice. Uraka, well, let's go inside the house. For the next few minutes, while mother and daughter finished preparing dinner in the kitchen and arranging the dishes on the table, the green-haired boy stayed in the living room with the brunette's father, who kept looking at him seriously. Mr. Uraka, first of all, I'd like to thank you for saving my daughter from those men. He said in a serious tone. Izuku, don't thank me, it's a hero's work, now those men are spending a long time in jail. Mr. Uraka, that makes me happy. Secondly, why did you ask Ochako out without having met her first? Izuku, Edo, the truth is, not even I knew what I had asked until after she answered me, but I guess I liked her and wanted to get to know her a little more. After all, we studied at the same academy and I had heard of her but I had never seen her in person. I thought it was a good opportunity to get to know each other. He explained somewhat nervously. Mr. Uraka, then tell me, boy. Izuku, you can call me Deku. Mr. Uraka, okay, Deku. He spoke with a bit of hatred, what are your intentions with my daughter? Izuku, wait, what? Mr. Uraka, you heard me. I know you didn't just ask my daughter out for the hell of it, you must have another reason. So speak up. Izuku, and no, I really wanted to get to know her a little better. I admit that she is very beautiful, and has very pretty eyes as well as her brown hair and she is very positive and charming. He spoke totally lost in his thoughts and with a silly smile. Mr. Uraka, what did you say? Izuku, nothing. I'm just saying. Mr. Uraka, I knew it, you're in love with my daughter. And now you want to woo her so she'll go with you. He got up from his seat on the couch and started chasing the boy around the living room. I won't let that happen. Izuku, I didn't mean that, he shouted in alarm as he was chased. In the kitchen. Uraka, do you think my dad and Deku are getting along? Mrs. Uraka, I'm sure you do. Back with the hero in trouble. Mr. Uraka, I've got you. She approached the boy cornered in a corner with a look of fear. It's time to settle this once and for all. Izuku, you don't mean that. Mr. Uraka, that's right. He confirmed as he rolled up his shirt sleeves. 3 Doritos later. Uraka, Dad, Deku, dinner's ready. She called from the kitchen, walking into the living room with her mother, when the two of them stumbled upon an unexpected scene. What the? Uraka's father and the green-haired hero were on their knees, face to face, having an arm wrestling match on a small table. Mr. Uraka, I won't let you win, he exclaimed as he applied more force. Izuku, and I won't lose. With all his strength he pushed his father's arm until his hand touched the table, thus winning the fight. Yes. Uraka, what's going on here? Mrs. Uraka, dear, why were you doing that? Mr. Uraka, we were just having a friendly duel of strength, right, Deku? He asked, hugging the boy with one arm and giving him a go with it look. Izuku, why yes, that's true. Uraka, okay. Dinner's ready, let's go. She said, still confused. After that little scene, everyone settled in to enjoy the delicious dinner that both mother and daughter had prepared. Everyone finished their dishes in a matter of minutes, and for dessert, there was chocolate cake. After dinner, the freckled man left and was escorted to the door by all the members of the Uraka family. Izuku, thanks for the dinner, it was delicious. Mrs. Uraka, you don't have to thank us, Deku. That was our way of thanking you for everything you did for our daughter. She commented with a smile. Izuku, still thanks, I had a great time. Mr. Uraka, me too, Deku, me too. She said with a satisfied smile, remembering when she chased him around the room. Uraka, goodbye Deku. To the delight of her mother and the anger of her father, she kissed the young man's cheek, who instantly blushed at this. Izuku, gee goodbye. He activated the full cowl and took a great leap towards the academy, leaving a trail of smoke in his shape, making the women laugh while the father was still angry. Days passed, and the brunette stayed with her family until she returned to the UA dorms, where she could chat with her friends about what had happened over the holidays. Uraka, and how did you all do? She asked the girls gathered in her friend Yaoyorozu's room, who also belonged to the general cursus. Yaoyorozu, well, it went well for me. I went out with Todoroki last week and I loved it. The date or Todoroki? Asked an invisible girl, also from the same class. Yaoyorozu, Hagakure, the date, I love the date. Hagakure, well, don't get mad. How did it go for you, Ashido? Ashido, I really liked it. Kiri took me around the city and we did a lot of shopping, she said enthusiastically. Uraka, did anyone else date someone from the hero class? She asked only to see all the girls raise their hands, all of them? Tsuyu, Jiro, Kami? Yaoyorozu, considering that only Mina, Tsuyu and Jiro belonged to the hero class, it seemed a little strange to me that we all also had some relationship with the boys from the heroism course. Jiro, I'm not in a relationship, I just went with that idiot Kaminari to buy a record. She explained a little blushing. Ashido, but I clearly saw them kissing in the park. The purple-haired girl commented, her blush increasing. And who did you go out with, Asui? Asui, well, last week I went out to eat ice cream with Tokoyami, Karo. Hagakure, great, but what I never expected is Kami going out with Bakugo. Jiro, yeah girl, how can you stand a guy like him? Kami, he's not that bad. Katsuki can be proud, but he has a kind, good, and caring side. The other day I asked him to go shopping for clothes with me, and he didn't refuse. She said, surprising everyone, that shows he loves me very much, even though he doesn't admit it in public. And you, Uraka, how are you? They all turned to look at the aforementioned, but it seemed the girl was distracted looking at her necklace with a smile until she noticed everyone's gaze. Uraka, what were they saying? Ashido, who were you dating? You're very distracted looking at that necklace. Is there anything special about it? Uraka, well, someone gave me this necklace many years ago. It lifted my spirits, and we promised to meet again. I'm still waiting for it, she replied wistfully. Girls, Ashido, that's very sweet, but we want to know who you went out with. Uraka, oh right. You wouldn't believe it, I was walking home from some late night shopping when I passed an alley and a group of men surrounded me and tried to get too close to me. Hagakure, that's horrible. Asui, you're right. Ashido, if I see one of those men you speak of, I will melt them with my acid. Uraka, it's okay, girls, don't worry about it. Just as you were about to get closer to me, he came, knocked everyone there unconscious in a matter of 3 minutes. Jiro, who? Uraka, Deku. Girls, Deku? Yaoyorozu, All Might's son? Hagakure, the strongest boy in UA and number 1 in his class? Kami, the semi-professional hero who defeated hundreds of villains and criminals? Uraka, yes, himself. After he saved me, he called the police and took me home to be safe. And after that, he asked me out. Girls, kya? Hagakure, I can't believe it. Ashido, you really won Deku over. She said amusedly, winking at him. Uraka, why do you say that, Mina? Jiro, well, Yagi doesn't usually talk much to girls, and in his free time he spends his time training outside of UA to fight crime. He explained to the brunette. Asui, you're the only girl he's asked out in the time we've known him, Karo. Ashido, I bet he's in love with you. Uraka, Deku, is in love, with me. She placed her hands on her red cheeks and began to float around the room. Kami, and apparently he's not the only one who's in love. Uraka, I don't understand, what can such an incredible, brave, heroic and handsome boy like him see in me? She wondered as she floated. Unaware that something similar was happening on the other side of the UA with a freckled boy with green and blonde hair, or so it was until he received a warning signal and left for the city in his hero costume. A few minutes later the girls headed to the living room to watch television, the news channel being the first to be seen. The brunette girl, seeing what was happening on television, changed her smile to a look of concern and quickly ran out of the place in the direction of the city, or more specifically, the bank. The other girls, seeing this, tried to ask what was happening, but the brunette had already left. When they turned to watch the news channel, they learned the reason why she had run away. A bank was being robbed by a group of armed and dangerous villains, and among the crowd of hostages were the Chestnut's parents. Satoshi Bank. The place was surrounded by police, some heroes, and journalists with their cameras. The situation was grim. At least 10 armed criminals and 24 hostages were inside. Now, 3 criminals were engaging in conversation with the police officers, while the others were looting the vault. Police Officer 1, surrender and let the hostages go, he shouted through the megaphone. Criminal 1, we won't do it until you meet our demands. Policeman 1, what are your demands? Criminal 1, we want 20 million yen and a helicopter to get out of here. Police 2, what do you want a damn helicopter for? When you go out to get it, we'll arrest you. Criminal 1, well me, damn. Criminal 2, we won't get out of here if they're out there, maybe we should take a hostage. Criminal 1, good idea. Listen up, you bastards. If you don't meet our demands, we'll kill the hostages. He pointed his gun at a blonde man standing nearby, but a voice behind him made him turn around. Everything is fine, because I'm here now. Criminal 3, how the hell did you get in here? Through the back door. You guys are really careless. She said, then looked at the man pointed at with the gun, who was her brunette friend's father. Mr. Uraric A. Deku? Izuku, I'd tell him it's good to see him, but I don't think it's a good time. He looked at the criminals and continued, let the people go and surrender. Criminal 1, come closer and I'll kill him, he shouted, still pointing his gun. Izuku, I guess we'll do this the hard way. He activated his power and disappeared from everyone's sight. Criminal 1, where are you? He didn't finish when he was hit by a hand on the back of his neck, leaving him on the ground. Criminal 2, boss. Tried to go to his side but a punch to his stomach made him crash into the wall. Criminal 3, get out damn hero, he raised his weapon but was hit in the face, then in the back and finally received a kick in the head, knocking him out. Izuku, that was easy. He released all the tied hostages and let them go, get out quickly. Just as everyone left, 7 more men entered the place, all pointing their guns at the green-haired man. Izuku, hey, calm down. Why the aggression? Let's settle this with a beer. He spoke calmly, but the men only continued to get closer. No? If that's what you want, go ahead. Outside the bank. After hearing about the robbery on the news and seeing her parents held hostage, Uraka ran from the dorms to the scene, where she found her parents safe and did not hesitate to run to them and hug them. Uraric A, Mom, Dad, you're okay, she exclaimed, relieved, as she hugged them. Mrs. Uraric A, we're fine, honey. Mr. Uraric 2, that's right, Deku arrived on time. Uraka, Deku? At that moment, a man flew out of the bank window and straight into the street, completely unconscious. Following him, Deku walked up to one of the employees and bowed. Izuku, I'm sorry I broke your window. Employee, it's okay, don't worry. Izuku, he straightened up and walked up to the police officers, the money is safe, now go inside and arrest those criminals. He advised, to which the police officers nodded. He was about to leave when the press surrounded him and started asking him a lot of questions. Reporter 1, how did you defeat all the criminals inside the place so quickly? Izuku, those criminals weren't very good at hand-to-hand combat, so to speak. Reporter 2, how did he get into the bank without being seen? Izuku, it was very easy, they left the emergency door open and no one to guard it. After that I just walked to the place where the hostages were and freed them after taking care of the criminals. Reporter 3, what do you think about this assault? Izuku, well, I think that, he didn't finish when he was hugged by a girl he knew very well, Uraka? Uraka, thank you Deku, thank you for saving my parents, she thanked with small tears of happiness in her eyes, being reciprocated by the boy who hugged her. Izuku, you don't have to thank her for anything, just, he didn't finish either because the girl had lowered her mask and face covering and started kissing him on the face, making him blush a lot. Reporter 1, who are you? He asked, pointing his microphone at the girl. Reporter 2, is she related to the hero Deku? Reporter 3, is she your girlfriend? With just that question, the two of them came out of the trance and separated, blushing. Izuku, no. She's not my girlfriend. He answered the question by looking away. Uraric A, we're just friends. She commented and then saw the freckled man's arm stained with blood. Deku, you're hurt. Izuku, oh, it's nothing serious, I'll heal later. He said nonchalantly. Police Officer 1, attention everyone, we have an armed suspect chasing us. We have to leave now. He told his colleagues that they had arrested the criminals. They got into their patrol cars and headed to the scene. Izuku, duty calls, see you later, he exclaimed while taking a big leap following the police officers. Press, let's go after him. They got into their vehicles and left the scene. After that, the brunette accompanied her parents home and stayed with them all day. In the afternoon, the girl was in her room when she saw someone on the emergency stairs next to her room, the green-haired man still wearing his hero costume and a bandage on his arm. Izuku, I knew you'd be here. He uncovered his face and approached the brunette, who got out of bed to hug him. You're Eric, eh? How? She asked smiling, wrapped in the green-haired boy's arms. Izuku, I don't know, it was just a hunch. Uraka, how is your wound? Izuku, it's okay, recovery girl took care of me quickly. And then hit me on the head with a stick. He answered, making his friend laugh. He looked her in the eyes and then remembered something. Hey, I wanted to tell you something that's been on my mind since we met. Uraka, really? What is it? Izuku, well, since I met you until today, I feel like I've seen you somewhere else before. You're Eric, eh? You know, I had that thought too, but I don't remember if it was true or just a dream. She looked at the green-haired boy more closely and noticed something under his mask. Deku, what are you wearing around your neck? Deku, oh, it's my necklace. He took out the necklace and showed it to the brunette. I've been wearing it since I was 4. I bought it at a store after meeting a cute girl and I gave her the other necklace that matched this one in case we ever saw each other again. Why do you ask? The surprised brunette took the necklace she always carried around her neck and showed it to him. Deku was shocked. The necklace she wore was the same one he had given her as a child. It was a silver chain with half a pink heart, while he wore the same necklace, but in green. When they were put together, they joined together with a small magnet, forming a heart. Deku, so, it was you. He said, completely surprised. You're Eric, eh? It wasn't a dream like I thought, it really was you. She hugged him tighter and shed a few tears. Deku, maybe it's too late to say it, but, he reciprocated the hug and rested his chin on the brunette's head. I'm glad to have met you, and also to have found you. They hugged for a few minutes, feeling each other's warmth. It was a really nice feeling for both of them, but they were quickly separated by a knock on the bedroom door. Uraka, who is it? She asked, a little blushing. Mrs. Uraka, it's me, daughter. I just wanted to let you know that dinner will be ready soon. Uraka, fine, thanks, Mom. She turned to look at her companion, who was staring at her. Would you like to stay for dinner? Izuku, I'd love to, but I have to get back to the dorms or Professor Aizawa will get angry. Uraka, I see. Suddenly an idea came to her and she tried to make fun of the green-haired boy a little. So you thought I was a pretty girl? Izuku, huh? Well, you see, he blushed at what he said and tried to hide his blush with his hands. Uraka, but then you wouldn't be far behind, you're very cute even when you were little. She said as she slowly approached him with a flirtatious look, and time also changed you in a good way. She admitted seeing the costume that highlighted his muscles. Izuku, well, why you don't look bad either, time has changed you for the better. He spoke with a red face, not knowing what he was saying. Uraka, you think so? She asked as she grabbed the freckled boy's suit and brought it closer to her face. Izuku, of course. He answered with a silly smile. The brunette placed a soft kiss on his cheek, bringing him out of his little trance, and then looked into his eyes. Uraka, you better go back to the dorms, you don't want to be late, do you? She let go of her suit and the boy stepped back. Izuku, yes, I should go. He said as he walked towards the stairs still blushing and still looking at the girl. The hero heard meowing next to the railing and found a black cat looking at him intently and growling at him. Just then the cat jumped towards his face and began to scratch him. Izuku tried to take it away but without realizing it, he ran into the railing and fell on his back until he fell on some garbage bags, making the girl laugh who leaned over the railing to see him. Uraka, are you okay? She asked, trying to hold back her laughter. Izuku, yeah, I'm fine, I have to go. See you later. He said goodbye and quickly left the place. Uraka laughed a little before going back into her room and lying down on her bed. She took out her necklace and looked at it with a smile. Uraka, things are going to be different from now on, I know it. And that wraps up part 1 of What If Deku Inherited One for All from Birth? How will this early power shape Deku's future? What challenges lie ahead? Part 2 is coming soon, and trust us, things are just getting started. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button with the bell on so you never miss a twist from Butterfly Fictions. Until next time, keep imagining, keep believing. This is Butterfly Fictions, signing off.